Welcome again, Taurus. It's July 2018. Dadhichi here with your Oracle Express, as I call it. The month in focus, but mainly some broad brushstrokes here to give you an idea of what's happening. And importantly, here in the 10th house of your professional arena, we see the retrograde Mars. This is collaborative to a large extent, and it rules your 7th house of most personal relationships. And you see it here connected to your profession. First off, Mars is the planet of drive and energy. When we see it moving into this retrograde motion, along with one of the rulers of your career, Saturn here, also retrograde, there's a really heightened intensification of the energy surrounding the planet. Now, you're probably aware of the traditional view that a retrograde planet veers off the road, so to speak, and can create a whole lot of accidents. I mean, that may be true to some extent, but according to the system of astrology that I've studied, it actually empowers the planet. And depending on whether it's a good or bad planet, in your case, it's not the best of planets, but it does show a stepping up of your work efforts and being very near to what we call Ketu, or the south node, your past karma point. This is showing that you have a need to really tie up a lot of loose ends in this area of your life. It gives a lot of you the drive to achieve what it is you may have wanted to do years ago. I find a lot of people embark on a career path only to find that, it's not really the path that they would ideally want to be on. And so at some point in future they go back and start to look at, well, maybe I should start living my passion. And that, I think, is what's going to happen here. But there's a few cautionary notes that I'll address as we look at the chart in its animation form. You see here on the 3rd, the transit of the moon with Neptune in the 11th, casting a cloud over some of your personal relationships, and also money that should be coming from the work that you do. Low-key periods 6 and 7, while it transits the 12th house, but then a big buzz, a kick in the pants here when it moves into the conjunction with Uranus around the 8th. This gives you the desire to present yourself a little differently at this time, and we see here that is a transformational impact because of its very favourable trine aspect to Pluto. Here there are some square aspects again, remnants from that earlier aspect with friends, but more courage during the period of the 12th and 13th, while we see the new moon here, which is important to talk about. This is renewed courage, renewed communication. That's important because just after this new moon, which shows a whole new approach to the way you deal with people, the way you communicate, negotiate your deals, so on and so forth, we see the opposition aspect to Mars in your domestic sphere, making this a rather impulsive period, and of course a time when you may have to deal with family members in a way that is not altogether pleasant. Better there around the 15th with the trine aspects to Saturn, that consolidates and brings things down to a more practical level. That one I missed, which is a lovely Venus-Moon combination in your 5th house of creativity. Very artistic, somewhat sentimental, but it gives you the ability to sensitively express yourself and to create through that process. Watch your health here around the 18th and 19th while the moon is transiting through the 6th house. But another lift for you in your relationships when moon makes contact with Jupiter around the 21st and 22nd. This is lovely. If we started the reading off saying that you've got some issues there in terms of collaboration in your work, this could be the time when here you see the sun from the 3rd house of communication, giving you the opportunity to reconcile things at that time. This is a pretty overpowering aspect here in your work. And we see also at this time when the moon comes into conjunction with the ruler of your professional activities around the 25th, that these combination of planets is going to ramp up the energy there in your work. This can also give problems with employers and stuff that you may have been holding on to for some time. Here we go, when the moon moves into that 10th house right there around the 28th and 29th, that's when you may no longer hold your tongue and may have something to say to your employer or co-workers. This is generally a manager or someone that you work with, and it can be rather confrontational and hot-headed, as seen by the reactive combination of the moon and Mars. We see the sun in the 4th house here, a lot of activity towards the last 5 or 6 days of the month there, where you're dealing with family members, and some activity or recreational event in the family arena that may happen rather abruptly as a result of this square to the planet Uranus. I'm hoping you'll be back for more next month, but you can always drop into the website astrology.com.au, and yours truly, if you'd like a personal reading, or some of our affiliate readers, we've got hundreds if not thousands of them there in all of their respective disciplines, waiting to take your questions and to answer you personally. Take care. Till next month. Bye-bye.